All right, welcome to Saturday Showcase presented by 5 Hour Energy, a great rivalry in the West Coast Conference. Number 2 Gonzaga on the road to take on the Gales of St. Mary's. Hi, everybody. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham. Sean, you and I love being here for this game in this building. Could well be that this will be the #1 test for the Zags all year.
Look, you look at Duke Carolina and what happened today down at Chapel Hill. I mean, it's very simple. In a game like this where there is a genuine disdain for your opponent, throw records out the window, the incredible can happen. What a great game that was. We expect a really good one here tonight in Moraga.
Last time these two teams met, championship game in the West Coast Conference Tournament last year, St. Mary's pulled the upset. Both teams are really different this year. Philip Petruccia for Gonzaga has stepped up in a major way.
I mean, you're talking about one of the best big men in all of college basketball, and Gonzaga is going to try to get the ball down low early and often in this game. They have a distinct advantage in the post, and what an advantage to have when you have a player like him. He's one of the best in the country. He's on the top 20 Wooden Award watch list. And I think as that thing gets whittled down to 15, he's probably still going to be there, and he's played some of his best games of the year as of late.
Yeah, he will be a handful for the Gales. Meanwhile, St. Mary's has its own star, point guard Jordan Ford.
Yeah, and the numbers you're going to look at is obviously the points per game, but it's not about the points per game for Jordan Ford in this contest. It's about valuing the basketball. He's got to limit his turnovers, and he's got to dictate the flow of this game just like he did in Las Vegas, making it a low possession contest.
So it's Gonzaga, it's St. Mary's. Year after year, this rivalry has delivered, and we expect nothing different here tonight. Can the Gales pull off the upset against number 2 Gonzaga? We will find out. Tip-off coming up next. Well, they are counting down to tip-off here in Moraga, California, on the campus of St. Mary's, where the Gales host Gonzaga. Maybe the game of the year in the West Coast Conference. A conference, Sean, that this year I think has taken a big step up collectively. Right now, Joe Lunardi's got 3 teams in the tournament. And not only that, 3 teams in that so-called top half of the bracket, Gonzaga, BYU, and the Gales.
Yeah, the safe zone. And obviously, I think BYU, too, is that's another game coming up later on this month. That's going to be a huge game for St. Mary's. Excuse me, for Gonzaga. But BYU is a team with Yoli Childs healthy that's as dangerous as anybody out west. The conference is top-loaded, but it seems like USF, Santa Clara, Pepperdine, those teams that have not gotten enough attention that has helped the strength of the conference and allowed these teams to be seated where they're at right now.
You know, Gonzaga's had a lot of impressive wins, emphatic wins. They've also been tested, and not just by BYU and St. Mary's. Gonzaga has been tested by Pepperdine, by USF. We fully expect them to get tested here tonight, because this has so often been the game of the year in this league. The greatest rivalry over the last decade in West Coast college basketball. And there are streaks on the line for Gonzaga, really remarkable ones. 16 straight overall wins. They've won 16 true road games in a row. In the regular season in this conference, Gonzaga's won 37 straight games. And on the road in the West Coast Conference, they've won 37 in a row. Last time they lost a road game in league was January of 2016 in this building.
Amazing streaks. And when you have players like Killian Tilly, who you saw there on the bench, he is back. He tweaked his ankle against Santa Clara. He'll be out on the floor here tonight. Opportunity. I talked to Mark Hughes, asked him, he said, any minute restrictions for him? He goes, no, it's kind of a let's see how he feels once he gets out on the floor. But we can talk about Petruccia and the talent the Zags have. Killian Tilly is probably the overall most talented player they have on their roster.
Yeah, he may have been the guy on that Wooden Award list had he stayed healthy and played a little bit more this year. Killian Tilly so important to Gonzaga's hopes of not just they're going to be in the tournament, they're going to be a high seed in the tournament, but maybe this will be the year for Mark Few and his Gonzaga program. It has been a remarkable 21 years for Coach Few and so many memorable games against St. Mary's. Gonzaga's played well in this building over the years. And you and I have seen a lot of these games in person, head-to-head.
My man, it's been 4 years since you and I have worked together. it's like reunited, and it feels so good, Dave Fleming.
And it does, and especially when you get to do a game like this, because for those of us who care about college basketball on the West Coast, this has been as good as it gets. Randy Bennett has done, it's hard to match the wins of Mark Few, but he's done a remarkable job here in Moraga, his 19th season. 5-13 against the Zags in this building, 10 overall wins against Gonzaga. And here we go. First meeting between the two since that WCC championship game last year in Las Vegas, and St. Mary's has the ball first tonight.
I call this a fire marshal game. I mean, they got people tucked in every corner inside this building.
Malik Fitz, who's been shooting the ball so well, passed up a three, threw up a wild shot, and a loose ball. Tilly on the floor throws it away.
I think the biggest key right now at the start is for the Gales, they need to handle the environment. They need to handle and understand how they want to play. That shoot around, it was very methodical as far as slowing the game down, making sure they're isolating and looking to drive who they think they can attack and beat.
And I think it's interesting that you said, rightfully so, it's the Gales who have to handle the environment. Gonzaga, they have played so many games this year, over the years, in places like this. They get tested every time they take the court. Good look for Fitz, but he missed it. Here's Ayayi knocking down the three.
They give him space. He can knock it down. Now, he's noted for his slashing ability and looking to attack the rim, but he is very good from beyond the arc as well. He struggled a little bit as of late, so a good start for him.
Two of the best offensive teams in all of college basketball. They play at different paces. Tanner Krebs, who missed a game last weekend, back healthy this week. He comes up well short. Gonzaga on the move. Ayayi had it stripped away.
You see, what St. Mary's will look to do is they will look to attack. If they have an opportunity to get a layup, they're going to take it. If not, then they run their stuff.
Interesting matchup. Petrushev trying to guard Fitz on the perimeter, and he went right by him.
Not a matchup that they wanted to get, but because of the turnover, that's how they had to match up.
Ayayi lobs it down low. Tilly with the touch.
Tilly's so talented. If he could just stay healthy. I mean, and that is a big if, but you mentioned it. If Gonzaga's going to win a national championship this year, they're going to need Killian Tilly to be healthy at the end of the year.
This three for the freshman Alex Dukas, who then steals the ball away. Heads up defensive play by the freshman, who lobs it up. I don't know about that pass. Krebs gets knocked to the floor. I thought Dukas just was going to take it in and lay it in.
Dukas should have just gone in to attack there. Ayayi's a very good athlete, but you use your shoulder strength, you create that angle, and you go into him as you go up. And that pass was way too high for Krebs.
That's a physical mismatch in Dukas' favor, but he didn't take advantage of it. St. Mary's does have the ball. Opening minutes of this rivalry game. Dan Fotu makes a move along the baseline, and he got fouled by Tilly.
I mentioned the pace a couple of times, the number of possessions that you see where they rank nationally. Gonzaga inside the top 30. St. Mary's not. 336.
That is a huge difference. St. Mary's one of the slowest tempo offensive teams in the country. Gonzaga likes to play fast. They don't have to play fast, but they like to. Tilly with the foul, checks out. Jordan Ford puts up his first shot of the night.
One of the best guards in the country. And he understands how to create space and separation. He's got a very quick release.
Matched up with Ryan Woolridge, who's really done an excellent job as the first-year point guard for Mark Few. Ayayi had it poked away out of bounds. Joel Ayayi.
It's remarkable when you look out of the court, the size advantage that Gonzaga will have at all times. It's kind of like watching the Lakers versus the Rockets the other night. You know, size advantage versus small ball, and St. Mary's doesn't have a lot of size, and they've got to match up and utilize their quickness and their athleticism to try to create and isolate mismatches at the offensive end to be successful.
That was Gonzaga's freshman Drew Timme. Jordan Ford off balance, scored anyway. Gonzaga quickly into their offense. St. Mary's regroups defensively. Neither other team, particularly deep, Corey Kispert having a heck of a year in and out. Timmy, offensive rebound, puts it back in.
You talk about Timmy and the impact that he's made without Killian Tilly out on the floor. Last 3 games, 15 points per contest.
And I think his game is sort of similar to Killian Tilly. A very good passer for a big man.
A little bit more underneath than Tilly's unlimited range.
Yeah, Timmy's not going to shoot from the outside. Rebound Gonzaga.
It's a high-low.
Petrusev goes up and scores with a foul.
Now you can see it. And it was open on the previous possession. They didn't get him the ball. And one of the things Petrusev does so well is what? Look at pin and seal, and he gets him on the high side. And as the ball is reversed, he pinned Fotu down low. It makes sure that he had that angle to get that ball delivered and finish through the contact.
You see those numbers you were talking about. Last 3, 25 points a game, playing his best hoops of the year right now.
Putting in work. He's putting in work, and that's what one of the biggest things. This Gonzaga team's a little different than teams we've seen in the past. And a lot of unknowns coming into the start of this season, but certainly they're known now. This is a very good team that can rebound the basketball and score and punish you inside.
Clock under 10, Jordan Ford with the runner, good. Petrusev posted up again. Fotu tried to come around, and he knocked it out of bounds. That went off the leg, I thought, of Petrusev. It did. So that'll take us to our first time out here in Moraga. Malik Fitz also playing at a very high level. We'll talk about him when we come back.
For Jordan Ford, but Malik Fitz could be the key in tonight's game, and he does a couple of things really well. Watch this play. You surround him with shooters on the outside. He's their best one-on-one player with size and attacking. Pause is going to stay attached to the outside of the shooter. That's just that pause. That momentary pause gives that seam. The versatility of Fitz has given teams a tremendously difficult time. 7 double-doubles on the season. He's coming off a 17-14 game. Defense shows on the on-ball screen. Watch as he spaces out the floor. He's been shooting it a lot better from beyond the arc. In the last 3 games, he's averaging 24 points per contest. Again, load up and isolate. You're loading the weak side, isolating Yoli Childs, one of the best players in the WCC, and it's Malik Fitz's playmaking ability off the bounce that's given him an advantage. So far tonight, that hasn't been the case. It's been Jordan Ford getting into the middle of the lane. But Fitz is going to have to play a huge role tonight if the Gales want to pull off the upset.
And one other thing he needs to do is stay on the floor. 2 games in a row, Malik Fitz has fouled out.
Hey, I talked to him about that. I said, about the fouls. He said, well, a couple of those fouls are bad. Sure, okay. But you still are picking up a 5th foul guarding the 3-point line where you can't even you can't even put yourself in that position.
Kuzi finds Fotu, missed the shot at the rim.
Admon Gilder in for the Zags and transfer from Texas A&M.
Foul on the floor, no basket.
It's interesting. You talk about like a guy like Admon Gilder. He played in some huge environments before. This is his first taste of this rivalry. You know, and I had a conversation earlier this week about rivalry games. And look, when you put on the uniform, you know who you're not supposed to like. It's inherently built in.
That is definitely the case with these 2 guys. With these 2 teams, Kispert stepped out of bounds. That's a Gonzaga turnover.
Remember when big old Rob Sacre said they hate us and we hate them?
He had a lot of great quotes, but that was one of them.
That was one of my favorites. I remember that one.
Totally agree. Gonzaga shooting the ball brilliantly at the start. They've already turned it over 5 times in the first 5 minutes. Fitz posting up.
We have Woolridge on him. He should look to attack this immediately.
He does and scores.
That is a mismatch. If they're going to put Woolridge on him, you invert yourself, you post up, and you force somebody to have to come and help.
Not a lot of minutes for Aaron Menzies this year for St. Mary's, but he was in to guard Petrusev, and Gonzaga turns it over again.
That's a very sloppy and uncharacteristic as far as the number of turnovers we're seeing. You're talking about the #1 best offensive efficiency team in the country in Gonzaga, but Watch who's on Fitz. Now they've got Gilder on him. If they can try to somehow get that switch again, you immediately go to the block.
Krebs might have a quickness advantage against Timmy, but Timmy stayed with him, and then Krebs threw it away.
Well, see, that's that one-hand pass there. If he grabs that with two hands and he looks and he sees that it's not there and that the cut didn't necessarily come that way, then you can be patient. But look at the offensive efficiency inside the WCC. These are your national leaders. Gonzaga at #1, Dayton, who's outstanding. They got another victory today. And Obi Toppin, a lottery pick for the Flyers, a chance for them to win a national championship. And then it's BYU and St. Mary's. 3 out of the top 4 from the WCC.
Isn't that interesting? Timmy down low with a foul. Score the basket. Now, Drew Timmy's made a big impact since coming into this game after just a couple minutes to start on the bench.
Watch the pin and seal on the strong side as the drive action comes through. Look, see how he stays low? And then Fitz just left him. I mean, Malik Fitz was on him and then left him, and that created the opportunity to score. So miscommunication defensively. You always want to protect from the inside out. And even with Gonzaga that has shooters on the outside, you know that where they've got a majority of their points this year has been the ability to score inside the paint with their size, and that's their advantage they have on you. Protect that first and then close out.
Timmy's got 7 points already in this game. Jordan Ford, crossover 3, off iron, tip ball, rebound still on the floor. They're going to call Menzies for his second personal foul.
Menzies hasn't gotten a lot of minutes, but his size is going to be imperative in this game. And he'll go to the bench, and the Gales go small again.
Yeah, that means Kyle Bowen, who is 6'8", but he's not nearly the size of Menzies, and he's a freshman. He's going to have to play essentially the 5-man.
Well, he'll be guarding Timmy. Advantage Timmy. I'd look to try to get him ball screen action and slide him down to the block and see if you can post him up. He's down there, but he's not posting up yet.
Now he'll come over. Kyle Bowen is at least fighting with him down there. Gets position and scores again.
I mean, every possession right now, you're going to look to isolate number 2 in black. I like the black uniforms, by the way.
Yeah, me too. Very sharp. Gonzaga's opened up a 7-point lead now. Tommy Kuzi, who doesn't shoot a whole lot.
Give it to Jordan Ford. He's got Timmy on him. Let him space out on the outside and let him attack.
That's what he will do. Goes right by Timmy and floats one up well short. Gilder leads the way. Gilder over to Kispert for 3. That one's good.
If you do not identify where number 24 is in transition, he loves to hunt the 3-point shot in transition.
Oh, what a start for the number 2 team in the country. Corey Kispert, who's having a big year, hits his first 3 of the night. Zags are up by 10. Well, our next big Monday doubleheader on ESPN. The ESPN app starts in the ACC 7 Eastern, and it's a good matchup. Duke, what an incredible win today on the road. Back home against number 8 Florida State. So that starts it off 7 Eastern, and then in the Big 12, number 1 Baylor goes to Austin to take on the Longhorns. Both games will stream live on the app. Big Monday, a couple days from now. What a wild one in Chapel Hill this evening.
It's going to be a great game. Florida State's got great length. Leonard Hamilton's team, vastly underrated. Nobody ever talks about it. MJ Walker with 14 points today. Patrick Williams as well with 14. Big victory for them. And obviously mentioned Duke and Carolina. Oh my, what a game.
Great defense from Gonzaga. Krebs, does he know he's got to shoot it? I'm not sure he knows. He finally got it off and missed it. Timmy with another rebound. Man, is he playing well. Gonzaga with the ball back already on an 8-0 run.
Get it right there. Tilly should have ripped through and gone baseline and dropped that off to Timmy, and they got out of the way.
Kispert.
That's offensive.
Pushed off.
He's trying to do maybe a little bit too much. I really felt like Tilly should have gone baseline and just dumped it in to Timmy. Too often in the college game, we go away from what works, and we try to overcomplicate it or make sure we're getting everybody involved. It's very simple right now on the floor. Timmy has the advantage. He is the hot hand. Continue to feed him.
Make St. Mary's prove they can stop it.
And then once they adjust, guess what you do? Now you have many options that you can look to on the outside.
Well, not as many options for St. Mary's. Malik Fitz, certainly a primary one. That one did not go. Bowen offensive rebound instead of shooting it. St. Mary's resets.
Tilly mistimed his jump.
Here's Jordan Ford, the bounce pass down low. That's a foul against the Gonzaga freshman. Well, number 2 Gonzaga looking very much like it. 20-10, that's the Zags lead. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy Shots, now in 2 great tropical flavors. Well, San Diego State, certainly a great story this year. UCLA and Arizona for a while, that was the premier rivalry in West Coast college hoops. Right now, this game really is that. Gonzaga, St. Mary's, Zags in the net rankings number 3, in the AP poll number 2, and St. Mary's pretty good metric ranking for the Gales.
Yeah, and that it's going to improve just by even playing Gonzaga.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's that aspect of it. I think the big conversation has been the fact that the Pac-12 hasn't won a national championship since 1997, and that was Arizona. And of course, in '95 it was UCLA. But the West Coast hasn't won one since. And they've had UCLA went 3 consecutive times. Arizona's played for a national championship since that '97 title. Oregon was in the Final Four. The Zags played for a national championship. This could be the year that happens. And I love Gonzaga, but I think San Diego State, people need to continue paying more attention to them. 5th best in the country in defensive efficiency, 11th best in the country at offensive efficiency. And Coach Dutcher's team has really done a great job molding throughout the course of the year, but this speaks to the depth of the WCC.
I mean, Santa Clara, San Francisco, Pepperdine, UOP, those are pretty good teams in this league. You get tested in the West Coast Conference, maybe in a different way than over the last several years. Killian Tilly, that quick release, the big man knocks down the 3.
So skilled, so versatile. He can shoot it, he can post up when he needs to, off the block and then turn and face. He's an excellent passer. I think that's one of the best attributes that he has.
Now, how do you defend that?
You can't.
That last shot is unguardable. Gilder came from behind and stole the ball away. Admon Gilder leaves it, and what a cut to the basket for Woolridge.
Great cut, and St. Mary's didn't anticipate that pass. They had their hands down, and he split the window. Great read by Admon Gilder.
Biggest lead for Gonzaga. This is kind of the nightmare start for Randy Bennett and St. Mary's, falling behind against a team as powerful as the Zags are. Krebs looks a little out of sorts. Dukas throws it away. 3-on-2. This time it's Woolridge to Gilder.
Well, Randy Bennett might think about a timeout. He does, because you cannot allow the Gonzaga Bulldogs to run in transition. You're out of sorts offensively. You're scattered. And when you have back-to-back turnovers, you're leading to back-to-back fast break buckets for Gonzaga. A beautiful job by Gilder, defensively working around Fitz. That pass, a direct pass right through Woolridge, able to finish, and then another sloppy possession leads to another run out. And what happens, you also, you're down 15. You can no longer dictate the tempo and the flow of this game like you wanted to.
Well, this was probably too reminiscent for the Gales, not of that great win in the WCC tournament championship game, but the 2 regular season games, the offense was putrid for St. Mary's against Gonzaga. They really got blown out both times.
Yeah, in particular, the one up in Spokane.
Ugly.
I had to wear a cowboy hat. Do you know that?
No. Why'd you have to wear a cowboy hat?
Because, you know, the student section up in Spokane, the Kennel Club, they're great. One of the best in the country. And they're sitting there and the guy goes, "Hey, you got to wear my cowboy hat." I said, "No, I'm not wearing a cowboy hat." He goes, "If we're up 40, you'll wear my cowboy hat." And I was like, "Sure." I mean, I've seen enough of these rivalry games to know this. You're not going to get 40.
And
they were up 40.
They were up 40.
So I had to wear the cowboy hat. I've made no such bets, and I will not make any more of them.
Well, it's probably smart. Who knows what these kids might ask you to do. St. Mary's fans are very spirited themselves. But some of the enthusiasm gets sucked out a little bit. I mean, Gonzaga, they are 11 for 12 shooting the ball at the start of this game. They've made their last 8 field goals, and they have a 15-point lead.
They've taken care of the ball. They had those 6 early turnovers, and since that point in time, they've done a really nice job of limiting those turnovers, and subsequently this lead has just ballooned.
And St. Mary's isn't even getting good looks on this end of the floor. That is a nightmare for the Gales.
And it speaks loudly to the defense. So Ford got in the paint early, and since they put Woolridge on Ford, he has not seen the paint with the ball in his hands.
Fotu has been playing pretty well, but there's such a difference in terms of the low post games between these two teams.
They just ball up.
Woolridge, that'll be an offensive foul. A lot of questions around him coming into this year with all the perimeter talent that Mark Few lost from last year's team. Grad transfer from North Texas. Ryan Woolridge has played really well.
He really has. In the last 2 games in particular, he's been really efficient in how he shot the ball. But maybe more importantly than anything, he's starting to find his voice. And this is a team, Kispert leads by example in how hard he plays. He's the heartbeat of the team out on the floor. But with Woolridge starting to communicate and hold guys accountable, I think that's the next level that you want to see.
Well, he found Killian Tilly, wide open 3. Gonzaga can't miss right now.
Wow. Also nobody's guarding it.
Correct.
I mean, that's what happens. You start collapsing back to the paint. And Killian Tilly could just stretch the floor.
Gonzaga's they've missed, I keep saying they've made 9 shots in a row. They've only missed 1 all game.
That seems efficient.
Yeah. 30-12. Jordan Ford. Kind of that mid-range 2. That was a brick.
I call that a waffle.
Okay. Flip by Gilder goes in.
Not a waffle. That was a good one.
Wow.
I'll explain later what the waffle means.
Please. America's waiting. Jordan Ford. And St. Mary's has to be stunned. We're not even 12 minutes into the game, and Gonzaga leads by 20. Well, they're going to let the big man shoot again. No, Ford from the corner, kind of pinned there. Ford will flip it up and score. No. They say no shot. Shot clock violation.
Yep. You want to know what the waffle means?
Yeah,
well, we've got this. They're going to review to make sure, right? Yeah, they're going to take a look at this. So, first of all, let's get the read on this. That's pretty close. It's pretty close. I'd need to see it slower if I was going to make the determination. Okay, so waffle, very simply put, is this. So last night I'm out with Vince Condi, who played high school basketball up here. We played an all-star game together with The Miz from the WWE.
Okay.
And they were showing me a shooting competition at Universal Studios. The Miz beat my friend Condi, Vince Condi. And they had to pick out a stuffed animal, and so they gave him a waffle because he shot so poorly. And so now I said, okay, every time there's a poor shot, I'm just going to call it a waffle.
Not a brick, not a whatever, not a clang.
It's a waffle.
Okay. I was wondering when the waffle was going to come into play.
Yeah. I'm just name dropping that I was hanging out with the Miz last night.
A whistle underneath the basket. He's bragging about the same thing. Jock Perry, who's getting some minutes, he has been banged up. Jock Perry, I mean, St. Mary's is trying to find anybody down low who can guard some of these Gonzaga big men. Off the inbound play, Kispert throws it in.
It's a bold strategy that the Zags have incorporated in this game.
Don't miss.
They're making every shot. We'll just make every shot. Let's see if that works tonight.
They're 14 of 15.
Oh my. Question how good they are. Go ahead. Tell me if this team loses a game that they're not deserving of a 1 seed. Are you watching this?
This is as good as a team can play. Jock Perry's shooting a lot. He finally makes one. Well, the students are still into it. I mean, they're hoping for some reason. And now maybe that's the reason.
Pull them out.
A missed shot. It had to happen at some point. Jordan Ford, meanwhile, blows right by the defense. Plus a foul.
Well, tell me these last 2 possessions weren't great, and they needed them because the Gonzaga Bulldogs have been special tonight. Not good, special. They find the open man, they share the basketball, they can attack in transition. Boy, they have been impressive.
Well, tomorrow on ESPN, the ESPN app, we've got an XFL game for you. The St. Louis Battlehawks, I'm still working on the names, and the Dallas Renegades. Tomorrow, 5 Eastern, 2 Pacific on ESPN. It'll stream live on the app.
Tom Hart on the call of that game. I believe that Pat McAfee will be working the field, which means there'll be a level of excitement down there for that. XFL got started today on ABC earlier today. I believe it was Washington, D.C. over Seattle in the opener.
You're still working on the nicknames, too.
I got Washington and
you got the cities.
D.C. and Seattle. I mean, that's for the win.
It's all new.
I'm getting used to it.
It's all new. Jordan Ford will miss the free throw, so a chance for a three-point play out of the timeout.
Oliver Luck in charge of it.
Which means the league is in good hands, and we're rooting for it. Kispert thought about the three. Gonzaga's just been awesome offensively.
Gales fans are rooting for a stop.
They got one. Is that 2 in a row?
Sure.
Jordan Ford. I mean, there haven't been many of them. We should be able to remember them all.
I'm just remembering the fact this. The thing about this, we're almost 14 minutes in the game. Do you know how many assists St. Mary's has? 0.
Wow.
And they're forced. What Gonzaga's forced them to do is have to play a lot of one-on-one basketball.
And if Kyle Bowen's shooting threes, Gonzaga's very happy. That is not the bread and butter for St. Mary's. Malik Fitz on the bench. He's been really quiet. Yeah, good pass. Tilley for 3. He got fouled. So not only is Gonzaga playing near perfect, but St. Mary's is anything but.
Yeah, a great job. You see, it's basically a counter action there where you're dragging the defense away from Killian Tilley. You're spotting up deep on the outside there where Tilley is comfortable and has room. And if you pinch in to help, well, then it's a long run out. Long run outs lead to either made shots or your momentum carries you into the shooter.
So 3 free throws for the senior from France.
He was playing his best basketball too. Randy Bennett, frustration here in the first half, especially on that play, but he was playing his best basketball of the season, really, in the 2 games prior to the ankle injury against Santa Clara. He had 22 in both those contests, 22 and 10 against BYU, but maybe even more importantly, he was playing with some lift. Like that bounce was coming back.
Big time. I mean, traditionally, he's got plenty of bounce. Everybody knows the story of the volleyball background, his family, great volleyball family. He played a lot of volleyball as a kid. Missed that last free throw. Fitz back in for St. Mary's. Jock Perry down low. He made one with the left hand already. This time he'll shoot with the right hand. He didn't hit the rim. Gilder down the lane, just stopped. The defense went by, and he missed it. Well, I guess we figured Gonzaga wasn't going to make every shot.
You understand, though, why they're the most efficient team in the country.
Everybody's a threat. Inside, outside, Fitz over top, scores.
Malik Fitz needs to take over this game. And this is the final 5 minutes here. First of all, focus on your defense. You got to worry about the defensive end, but offensively, I'd look to isolate Malik Fitz and allow him to attack.
Do you have a goal if you're St. Mary's by halftime, try to whittle the lead down?
If you get it to 12, I think you're feeling really good.
Timmy makes his move. That's a foul. Are they going to say shooting foul?
They're going to call it on the floor, but I think it'll be a one-on-one.
Fotu comes back in. Jock Perry goes out. His second personal foul.
Think about Timmy. His level of efficiency has been off the charts.
Yeah.
9 straight games of shooting better than 50% from the field. He is 4 for 4 so far tonight.
Earns the second free throw. He was a big-time high school player. Big recruit for Mark Few. I don't think anybody knew exactly how much he was going to play as a true freshman. He's starting to make more free throws. That free throw percentage has ticked up a little bit.
You allow, we talked about handling the environment, handling the emotion of the building, and I mentioned off the top that I thought it was more on St. Mary's to have to do it. Gonzaga is used to coming into hostile environments. Wherever they go, it's the t-shirt giveaway game. You know, it's the biggest game on the schedule. The students always show up. It doesn't matter whether it's Portland, it's LMU, it's USF. It's a traveling road show, and when Mark Few's team shows up, everybody all of a sudden shows out. They've come in here and they have absolutely controlled this game. And we took it 37 consecutive conference road game wins. They're shooting 78% here in the first half.
37 conference road wins in a row. And over those years, these last few seasons where that streak has been intact, there have been a lot of good teams in the WCC.
The Gales were a 30-win team 2 years ago.
Ford got cut off. Shot clock winding down. Malik Fitz on the move. Fitz flips it up. He got fouled. So Fitz will go to the free throw line.
Malik Fitz, we mentioned his versatility, how he can attack off the wing. It's really his size and strength that allows him to finish. And Randy Bennett told me he feels like they focus on 1%. Just get better 1%. And once we've gotten to that 1% mark, let's keep going to get another percentage point better. And he's improved every single season that he has been here.
Logan Johnson will come in for the Gales, trying to find anything to spark. St. Mary's team has just been blitzed here at home in the first half. Both free throws good for Malik Fitz. Tilly on the bench with 2 personal fouls. Trushev back in, and he'll get a touchdown low. Working his way closer. Spins back middle, took some contact and scores.
He has such a great base underneath him. As he's making those moves, a lot of times post players will narrow their base, and that allows them to get pushed off their mark. He kept his wide, and he allowed him to be strong.
They left Jordan Ford wide open, and he missed the 3 anyway. My goodness. And those shots have to go down for St. Mary's to have a chance. Unguarded. Gilder got fouled by Fitz.
Look at the base. Look how strong it is. He feels the defense. Doesn't concern himself with the contact. Just remains strong. That's why he's one of the best in the country.
All right, so we'll look forward to that at halftime. 40-20. That's the score. Gonzaga over St. Mary's. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham. Great to have you with us here tonight. And Sean, some of the stuff they'll be talking about at halftime. What stands out to you, wild day of college hoops?
Well, first of all, it has to start with the rivalry. It's Duke and Carolina, just how fantastic that contest was. Trey Jones down the stretch, so important with his scoring ability for Duke. Wendell Moore with that layup. But the top 16 teams revealed, and 3 of them lost today. West Virginia, Michigan State, and Villanova actually lost its 3rd consecutive game. It's a little concern, I think, inside the Big East there. And then a good scene today at Indiana. And sometimes it takes a while for some forgiveness and some healing to take place. But Bob Knight being back out on the floor at IU for the first time in 20 years just felt right.
20 years is a while. And then the Hoosiers went out and did not play very well.
No.
Purdue beat them at Assembly Hall.
But an emotional scene. And when you think of Indiana basketball, and I understand there's people that will look at different aspects of Coach Bobby Knight, but when you think of IU basketball, is he not the first name that comes to mind?
He is.
It was good to see.
Meanwhile, St. Mary's chance for a 3-point play. Gilder committed the foul. Dan Fotu misses the free throw. So the Gales just, things are not going right in this first half. They're down 18 With 3 minutes to go until halftime, Gilder had it stripped away, but knocked it to Ayayi, who will shoot the three. And Timmy with the offensive rebound. He'll go back to the free throw line.
By the way, that was the first assist of the game on that last possession for St. Mary's.
That's definitely worth pointing out.
Now, you got 17 minutes on your own floor, and you've got 1 assist. Good job, though, by Timmy, spinning off of Jordan Ford. He did everything he could to try to put himself in position, just couldn't get it done. I have an interesting factoid here for you if Timmy's able to make his first free throw. With that free throw there, that's 12 points for him on the game. Gonzaga currently has 7 players on their roster averaging 10 points or more.
Timmy came into the night, what, at 9.9 a game?
He needed 12.
He's got 13 with the friendly roll.
I mean, that's the balance of this Gonzaga team, and that's what makes them difficult when you go through scouting report. You start going through guys, and you're like, okay, this guy averages 10, this guy averages 10, this guy averages 11, this guy averages 12, he averages 14, and oh, by the way, this guy averages 17. Good luck. When you start to pick and try to choose who you want to take out of the game, inevitably you're going to leave others open.
They play 7 guys. That was a pretty good move from Logan Johnson, and all of them score double figures a game. All of them.
It's pretty ridiculous.
They basically don't play anybody else. Woolridge had it knocked out of bounds.
And in case you're wondering at home, yes, they're the only team in the country that has 7 guys that average double figures.
Woolridge, the inbounder. The shooting percentage for Gonzaga has come down to 75%. Khrushchev. How do you shoot 75%? You get looks like that, and then you follow up your own misses and score just like that.
Well, limited rebounding opportunities. You've got to create your opportunity to pad your stats a little bit. I'm kidding.
Well, there haven't been many rebound chances, at least on that end. Johnson, another spin move. Rebound, Gonzaga. And the big man's going to bring the ball up. Final 2 minutes of the half. Just a spectacular display of offensive firepower. Even Petrushchev handling the ball and switch to the left hand for the finish.
A lot of room and a lot of space. A little awkward on the dribble, I'm not going to lie. But where's the help? Where's somebody else coming to close that gap and try to force him? And that's why you have so many weapons on the floor. You can't overhelp.
So many things have gone wrong for St. Mary's. The lack of passing you pointed out. But the defense has to appall Randy Bennett.
Well, no matter what you're doing at the offensive end, and this has not been a very good offensive game for St. Mary's so far because of the way Gonzaga has taken them out of their rhythm. You're not going to win allowing your opponent to shoot 75% for the half.
Woolridge goes to the bucket, hit the floor very hard. My goodness, Timmy ends up putting the ball in, and Woolridge is holding that left hand. He's hurting a little bit. Gonzaga's got to hope that he's okay. He is an extremely important player for Gonzaga. Ford, meanwhile, had nowhere to go with the ball.
He's still shaking that left hand.
Yeah. Not great. Petrushchev, score the basket plus a foul. Gonzaga's just blowing St. Mary's out in this first half. Up to 50.
Watch Woolridge as he goes down.
Sort of jam that wrist.
Yeah. A little awkward fall. I hope he's okay. It's your natural reaction. It's almost better if you don't put your arms down. Meanwhile, you look at Timmy with 15 and 7. Petrushchev with 11 and 6. Shooting 73% from the field on the game. This has been impressive.
Perry makes his move and uses the glass to score.
His second basket for Perry.
It's something. Shot clock is off. Gonzaga is going to have the final shot. I guess Ryan Woolridge is okay. Shot clock to 6. Woolridge Underneath the basket again, down to 3, down to 2. Gilder, nice shot fake, created the opening, and why not? At the buzzer of the first half, another shot goes down for the Bulldogs of Gonzaga, who could hardly have played better in the first 20 minutes.
Remember when they got knocked out of being #1 in the country after they beat both their opponents by a combined 73? I remember that. This team's really good.
Really?
I'm not saying Baylor shouldn't be #1, but the Gonzaga Bulldogs are sensational.
Really good. All right, stay tuned. Jeep Halftime Report with Allison, John, and Robbie coming up after this. What a half for Gonzaga. Welcome back to Saturday Showcase, presented by 5 Hour Energy. We get ready to start the second half, and yeah, that is the score. #2 Gonzaga, 53-28. They lead the Gales of St. Mary's. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham, back with you here. Sean, we've seen a lot of memorable games in the history of this rivalry. This one has a chance to be memorable for a different. I am stunned at how much Gonzaga dominated that first half.
It's the 10th best field goal percentage half in Gonzaga program history. And they were able to do it on the road against a Gales team that really has played well and one of the more efficient offenses in the country. They locked them up defensively, and then offensively they got anything they want. Gonzaga has 28 points in the paint. St. Mary's only has 28 points. They assisted, they moved the ball, they've got 3 guys in double figures, 10 assists on 20 made field goals, 5 of 6 from beyond the arc, and then they forced some turnovers, able to get some runouts off of those. It was a big first half for really everybody for the Gonzaga Bulldogs. And Mark, here's the test. You got a big lead, and you played so efficiently. And you say, okay, hey, can we have that same edge in the second half? Can we stay disciplined and be mentally focused here in the second half? Now, you ain't just shoot 74% again, but can you execute and stay true to the principles of your program? That's very key.
You made the point, and I think it's worth revisiting. Killian Tilly with a runner, and that one goes down. So the second half starts just like the first half ended. Carolina Duke on paper, big mismatch. Carolina not playing well. Duke top 10 team in the country. Rivalry game. Teams hate each other. Carolina played up. I mean, this is a similar kind of game, and you just don't see this very often when it's 2 top rivals going head to head.
Well, the size differential is huge, and it's a 22-8 advantage on the glass in the first half for Gonzaga. And I mentioned it, like, St. Mary's has got to execute and play like they're the Houston Rockets against the Los Angeles Lakers. And for that to happen, Fitz and Ford have to be 20 plus. I mean, they have to be Harden and Westbrook as far as production and who you're counting on. Neither one was at that level in the first half.
No, and if you're playing small, you got to hit some shots. St. Mary's has not hit a 3 all game. Killian Tilly's hit several of them. He misses that one. Ford went up for the rebound, and he got fouled. That was a nice rebound by Jordan Ford. So a couple little positives for the Gales as we start the second half.
Well, and you know Randy Bennett's going to talk to his team and get on them, and is going to talk about coming out and reestablishing who you are. And what has allowed them to be a 20-win team already this season? You know, can we get back to that? You allowed for 20 minutes Gonzaga to absolutely dictate every aspect of the game. Can we start dictating some of this game?
Dukas switch to the right hand, missed the shot, loose ball. Dukas goes after it and comes away with the ball. He'll call timeout to keep possession for St. Mary's. And that means we'll take a timeout ourselves. Long climb for the Gales. 55-32. That's Gonzaga's lead. ESPN's exclusive presentation of college basketball is presented by 5 Hour Energy Shots, now in 2 great tropical flavors. It was a beautiful day here in the little town of Moraga, tucked in the East Bay Hills. You go across the Bay Bridge from San Francisco, you get here to this little village almost, a beautiful college campus that has produced a lot of great basketball players, especially recently. Matthew Dellavedova, Patty Mills have had long, distinguished NBA careers, still going.
East Bay is beautiful. If you haven't been to the East Bay, you're not living right. My parents still live here.
The home, you can't say this is your hometown exactly, but what, 15 miles away?
Yeah, pretty much.
Something like that.
Clayton's not that far away.
Malik Fitz, runner, no good. St. Mary's just getting no easy shots. Everything's late shot clock. Kispert bounced past. Tilly went up to jam it home, lost the ball. And Dukas didn't reestablish inbounds, touched the ball, so it's out of bounds off St. Mary's.
Listen, I know he didn't complete it, but if you're a Gonzaga Bulldog fan, you love seeing that. I mean, that is coming back from an ankle injury and showing no fear and wanting to test and see how he can push it. Nice job that time.
You know, a huge part of the mission for Gonzaga to close out this regular season. Tilly attacks and scores is to keep that guy healthy. Win games, keep your seeding level, maybe get a #1 seed in the tournament, win your conference tournament, but right near the top of that list, keep Killian Tilly healthy.
Absolutely spectacular player.
He really is. Jordan Ford, meanwhile, struggled in this game. Good bounce pass that time.
Yeah, Woolridge got picked off on the screen, and then they really didn't communicate all that well that time. That's the first time defensively in the half-court set you didn't see Gonzaga really communicate.
And they're calling that a double dribble. Tilly, he really passed it to himself. And so they rule that as a double dribble. So these were the preliminary NCAA tournament. They're almost like football now. We do this before the tournament selection show.
Ironically, the 2 seed and the 3 seed are 2 of the 3 teams that lost today. West Virginia lost on the road against Oklahoma. Tough stretch for them. They have Baylor at home this week, and then they go on the road to Kansas. They could technically speaking lose 3 games in a row. Obviously, that would move them off this list. Villanova's just lost 3 games in a row, and look at the other side. It's important for Gonzaga to maintain its positioning in the West. If not, they lose it to San Diego State. You could be going east to New York. And if you're east and the Sweet 16 is in Madison Square Garden, you're playing Duke in Madison Square Garden. That's not where you want to play Duke. That's Cameron Indoor North.
Well, you're right about that. In a way, these 2 teams, San Diego State and Gonzaga, not these 2 on the floor here, but the 2 that you're talking about, are fighting for that spot. And to stay away from potentially a matchup like that in the Sweet 16. Kispert, your Elite 8. Kispert to the free throw line, ducks in and scores.
What do you want? How do you want it? Go ahead and have it. That's how I would describe the offense tonight for Gonzaga.
Ford backs up and shoots a 3. Finally, St. Mary's has made one. And really, if you'd said it's going to take until 4 minutes into the second half for St. Mary's to hit a 3-point shot, we would have all known that's not good news for the Gales. Coming off a game where St. Mary's was 1 for 15 from 3-point range on Thursday on the road at San Diego. Coming into that game, they were #1 in the country.
Yeah, they're one of the best 3-point shooting teams in all of college basketball. And so if you're, a fan of another conference and you're watching this and you're going, oh, well, they're not playing anybody. You clearly haven't watched college basketball all season long. St. Mary's, their offense is really efficient. They're one of the best shooting teams in the country. This is a representation of Gonzaga and their level of efficiency at both ends of the floor tonight.
Well, St. Mary's finds an open shooter. Dukas knocks down the 3. Timeout, Mark Few.
I like the timeout by Mark Few. Couple possessions, you give up some clean looks on the outside. The crowd and the energy of the building starts lifting a little bit. You want to refocus your guys and make sure they're dialed in. The Gales are starting to play like they play. Drive, kick, find somebody open on the outside. It's a 6-0 run.
In Cameron, everything is amplified.
Jones lob it to Cameron. Elevator going up.
But the Seminoles are bringing the noise of their own.
The cell. Oh my goodness.
Florida State, Duke, get ready to rock.
That is a super game coming up on Monday, 7 Eastern. Duke coming off a 3-game road trip. They had not played at home for a couple of weeks. They'll host a top 10 Florida State team. 3rd time all-time those teams have met both in the top 10.
Florida State has great length. They turn you over. They utilize their length and score off their defense. Duke obviously can be very explosive. And Vernon Carey fouled out of the game today, but he has had an unbelievable freshman season. And then you look at Cassius Stanley. Hey, that dunk he had against Boston College, if you freeze it, and we did, it looks like he's literally flying. He had 22 in his first ever game inside the rivalry. Impressive.
I'm still trying to figure out how Duke won that game.
You want me to break it down for you?
Yeah, please.
Can't get the ball in bounds a couple of times.
I call a foul against Kuzi.
Don't box out twice.
So it was good from Duke, but it was also
bad from North Carolina. And it was indicative of some of the breakdowns that they've had all season long. It was unfortunate, though, down the stretch of that game, some of those breakdowns were exposed. Cole Anthony sensational, 24-11.
Tilly from way outside comes up short. Well, St. Mary's just trying at least to give Gonzaga something to think about. Kuzi, bounce pass, threw it away.
Great recovery defensively by Woolridge.
Whoops. Dribbled it right off the foot of the defender.
That's an instance where you've got to pull it out and just run your offense.
Bowen hits the floor. Jump ball.
For Woolridge, you make a great play at the defensive end, and you're just driving into traffic. Look at the score, understand the time, it's a 19-point lead. Driving into traffic, not your best option there. Pull it back out. You've been highly efficient in your half-court set. Run what you want to run, play through your post, make good things happen.
Jordan Ford, who has 11, but it's been a tough 11 points. They'll shoot a long three. It was blocked by Kispert. The ball ricochets to Kuzi, who didn't shoot it. I mean, somebody's got to shoot it. Kuzi got it off, but they say he didn't.
That was an incredible play by Kispert.
It was. It was.
I mean, his ability to react and get underneath that screen and still close out, the athleticism to get it. And he tipped it away. It was too late. Zero's already on the clock before that one went down. Second time, by the way, the Gales have had a basket removed for a shot clock violation.
Woolridge down the lane, stopped, flipped it up, scored.
Great job jump stopping and being on balance. We were talking about earlier on game day, showing you Jay Wright and Villanova and how they practice jump stopping and being on balance. It's amazing what happens as a guard when you have balance. They all watch, everybody watches the NBA and thinks that they can do that. Well, those guys are mastered the fundamentals.
Gilder shoots a long three. No.
Well, I'll tell you what, the big man is upset. He was wide open underneath, and he stood up and actually started walking away as that shot went up. Petrusev is not happy at all with that last possession.
Now Ford has the matchup against the big man. He used that extra little Euro step and made the basket. I don't know if that was a Euro step or a Jordan Ford step, but it was something. Timmy spin. Scores with a foul.
I'm going to go back 2 possessions. I'm going to show you what I was talking about here with Petrusev. Look at him posting up. He feels like he's got the advantage. Look at him right here. He wants the ball. Give him the ball. You don't give it to him. He's wide open. Watch what he does. He's walking away. His back is to the court as that shot goes up. That's not good.
No.
All right, now I understand as a big, you want the ball and you've worked to get that position. But you cannot give up on the possession like that.
Well, he's really, really frustrated as he goes to the bench. That'd be a little teaching moment, I think.
Well, and he has a reason to be frustrated. He was open. And when you're as good as he is and you're played as well as he has, you need to have awareness and you need to feed him. But at the same time, if they don't get it to you, you can't just stand up and walk away and turn your back on a possession.
Dukas tries to get by Tilly. Ford runner and uses a nice soft touch. St. Mary's doing a few things a little better. They're still down 18.
Just feels like they're treading water.
Yeah. I mean, you got to get stops to make a run. They can't stop Gonzaga's offense. This time the point guard Ryan Woolridge with the foul.
Great job by Woolridge driving the lane, coming off that screen. And you see how they have to hold and stay attached to Tilly. So as you're rolling with the roll man and you're staying attached, what ends up happening is you're giving up that seam and you're creating that lane to attack aggressively.
Woolridge makes the free throw. For a good portion of this year, one of Gonzaga's only weaknesses is not a great free throw shooting team.
They're 10 of 13.
Yeah, tonight shooting the ball very well from the line. Bad pass. And Gilder saw that coming all the way. Gonzaga numbers over the top. Woolridge finishes.
Second time in transition off of the steal that Gilder's been able to find Woolridge in this game. Nice pass, 4 assists now in the game for Gilder.
So you feel like St. Mary's getting back in it, playing a little better. Ford has it stolen away. It's a 23-point lead. Now it's a 25-point lead.
You said you can tread water. They're treading water. Eventually you get tired.
Yep. Ford blocked by Timmy. That's 2 possessions in a row. Ford gets it back. He'll shoot the 3. Way short. Wow, just not Jordan Ford's kind of game. He does scoop up the ball and put it in. And maybe he's exhausted.
Well, he's had to work hard for every look that he's had. As great as the offense has been for Gonzaga, if you aren't paying attention to what they're doing at the defensive end, you're also missing excellence there.
Could be a big night for the Bruins. Dave Fleming, Sean Farnham here in Moraga. Sean, a one-time team captain at UCLA. And who knows, maybe the Bruins could be a factor in that Pac-12. Colorado got a big win against Stanford at home. What did we learn from the reveal on Saturday? Joe has his own opinions about that. Virginia, I think they're going to be in the field, don't you?
Yeah, I do. Defensively, though, they struggled today.
Louisville got 80 on them.
Louisville's really good. Jordan Wara just outstanding. 22 points, 7 rebounds, 51% shooting against that Virginia defense is pretty incredible.
Another thing we are learning is how good Gonzaga is. Hey, a lot of us already knew that, but rivalry game on the road against a top 30 kind of team, just a blowout, a domination.
Well, it's funny because if Gonzaga plays St. Mary's close and wins, people criticize them. If they blow them out, like they are, people criticize them. I mean, they just, oh, well, see, that's what it is. I mean, you just, no, it's not what it is. St. Mary's is a really good program that has consistently been in the NCAA tournament and postseason experience. They're one of the most efficient offenses in college basketball this year. The resume speaks for itself. You beat an Oregon team right now that's on in the Pac-12, is led by Peyton Pritchard, one of the best players in the country, on a neutral floor. Yeah, you lost to Michigan. Okay, fine. When Washington was good, they took care of Washington on the road in a true road game. They went down to the McHale Center and they won in the McHale Center, which is extremely hard to do. And oh, by the way, they haven't lost a road game in 37 consecutive games, and that's probably not going to change tonight unless something crazy happens in the final 10 minutes.
Hopefully Jock Perry's okay. Looked like his shoulder was hurting. He comes out of the game.
They're the only team in college basketball, by the way, this year to not lose and lose the ranking of #1.
Yeah, they won 2 games in dominant fashion and lost the #1 ranking. And part of that is Baylor had some good wins, Timmy.
You go on the road and you win in Allen Fieldhouse. That's significant. And that is a team that is well balanced. Scott Drew's team is phenomenal. Maceo Teague with a huge game today. Jared Butler's been really strong all season long. Freddie Gillespie on the glass. That Baylor team is strong. They struggled a little bit again today, though, with with Oklahoma State. All 5 starters for them in double figures today.
Fitz posting up. Fitz has been real quiet in the second half. Fitz gets called for the offensive foul.
And I think Admon Gilder hit his head on the floor.
That'll be Fitz's 4th personal. Gilder gets up. Looks like he's all right, hopefully. Ooh.
Yeah, he hit pretty hard. Earlier in the first half, by the way, I commented I liked the uniforms. Evidently, people in Spokane have superstitions with the uniforms. And they remember the 5 losses that they've had when they've worn these uniforms. They've also won 17 games wearing these uniforms.
Yeah. And tonight is a pretty impressive performance wearing the uniforms that some fans think are bad luck.
Maybe they'll like the uniforms more now. We'll go on a fact-finding mission when you and I are up in Spokane for the rematch of this game.
Take a little survey.
Yeah, we'll start walking around. Maybe stop by the Safari Lounge. Have a spicy shrimp flatbread.
I see that happening in our future. I do.
Recently, there's been a call for me to experience other culinary dineries in the Spokane area.
I've heard that from several people. Tell Farnham to branch out a little bit.
I'd love for suggestions.
Okay.
I'm more than open to it. So if
people know where to find you.
Yeah, it's not hard.
Probably we won't be exploring anything else, though.
But we probably not. But we could try.
Christers
I'm open to
Zorix is in the game. He just threw the ball away. I didn't anticipate him playing for St. Mary's. He commits a foul. There he is. Redshirt sophomore from Latvia.
You didn't expect him to play, and Randy Bennett certainly did not expect to score. They talked about a couple things today to shoot around, you know. Don't let them get out in transition. They've been able to run off of those turnovers and find ways to score. Got to be able to pinch on their post and not allow them to catch deep in the post to be able to turn and score. Gonzaga's done that consistently.
Isn't it amazing, by the way? I mean, Petrushev, he's got 11 points. He's got 7 rebounds. At times, he's dominated in this game. Gonzaga's up by not quite 30, but getting there. And he looks like a real frustrated guy.
There's high expectations for himself.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, look, he has played at such a high level, and he's taken ownership in this team. And you talk about Wooden Ward watch list players from the West region. Peyton Pritchard, phenomenal year. He's had a couple Heisman moments. You'd like to say at Michigan was probably one of them. The shot against Washington on the road was one of them. Malachi Flynn, almost a 3-to-1 assist-to-turnover ratio for the only remaining undefeated team in college basketball.
You know, Petrushev sort of got teased in some circles for exploring the NBA after last year, where he played, what, 10 minutes a game, basically, 11 minutes a game. Didn't score much. Duke has missed the layup.
By the way, we asked for suggestions. You know, you're kind of hinting you could reach out on like social media and find me and give me suggestions, right? Dan Dickow decides to text me.
Yeah.
Say, get a haircut at my barbershop. There you go, Dan. There's your shout out.
We were looking for a different kind of suggestion.
Wasn't looking to get my haircut, but I appreciate it. And if I do need a haircut, I'm on the road often.
You know where to go.
I'll know where to go. But he also did say, grab some food at the Onion or Tomato Street.
Okay.
Haven't been to either.
File those away. Just a few weeks away from being up there in Spokane again. And part of these last few minutes, maybe you and I will talk about a little bit. Jordan Ford just lost the ball. Literally just dribbled it away. Good hustle by St. Mary's to get back and interrupt the fast break. Not Jordan Ford's night. How can St. Mary's, not just tonight, but in that rematch coming up in a few weeks, how can they play better? How can they hang with Gonzaga? It's going to be a tall task for the Gales on a beautiful night in the Bay Area. Freshman big man Drew Timme for Gonzaga doesn't start, doesn't even play a ton of minutes. All he does is produce.
And just 7 for 7 from the field, 6 of 6 from the free throw line, 20 points, 8 rebounds, 3 of them coming at the offensive end. Close your eyes, Zags fans. Envision your future. Open them back up and see Timmy.
20 points, 8 rebounds in 17 minutes tonight. Has not missed a shot from the field. Has played excellent defense. And he's your, I think it's fair to call him your 7th option. I think
Hard
he
to
is.
imagine, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because just the level of efficiency in which they played with all night long.
You can argue top teams in college basketball. Who's the best? Who are the few best? What do certain teams do better than anybody else? There's no deeper offensive team than Gonzaga.
They're so well rounded with their weapons and the skill set that you watch. And they play at a high level. They're used to playing in big games.
Tilly wants to dunk it. He will dunk it.
With a smile to the bench.
I told you I was going to get one tonight. And Gonzaga's got their biggest lead, 77-48. Alex Dukas, runner, good. He's going to be a good player. He already is a good player.
Well, he has the potential to be that guy. Now, you went to break and you were talking about what has to happen in that next go-around. To me, here's the thing. And you and I were talking about this earlier, and you actually brought it up, and I agree with you. St. Mary's has got to play faster. Okay, when you play small, and that's what he has to do this year, Randy Bennett. Well, you got to play a little bit quicker. You got to race ahead when you allow those bigs to get back and become cemented defensively. It makes it a lot harder because their length can be disruptive in the passing lanes, in shot attempts, closing down the opportunity to drive, protecting the rim. So if you speed up the game, maybe try to get some of those bigs into foul trouble by attacking them, I think that becomes more of a positive opportunity for St. Mary's. Now, it's out of characteristic because you look at the pace of play.
Well, I totally agree. I mean, St. Mary's is one of the slowest paced teams in the country.
Which is fine. And in most nights, the skill set and the guys that they have, you can take care of business. But the Gonzaga Bulldogs are a high major program that has been at a high major level for a really long period of time.
St. Mary's last weekend played at a quick pace against a very good offensive team, BYU, and went toe-to-toe.
That was one of the best games of the year.
It was.
Now, today we had a couple of games. You know, here's the shame. We are gonna talk a lot about Carolina and Duke, right? And we're gonna give a lot of attention to that game because of the rivalry, the history, and just the way it was played. But one of those games too today that was early on, LSU at Auburn, was a fabulous game. Auburn has won 3 overtime games in the last 4, made 18 three-pointers in that game. Javon McCormick outstanding. There's a program that Bruce Pearl has that went all the way last year to the Final Four and lost a ton of pieces, yet has come back and currently sits on top of the SEC.
Yeah, pretty impressive. That was a great game. It's been a year where part of the talk around college hoops has been offense down, scoring down.
Not today.
Most teams, and not this. You're right. Not around college hoops all day today. Petrusev right over the defense. I wonder as the season goes on, down the home stretch here, final few weeks of the regular season, whether some of those numbers will correct a little bit.
I think they will. You know, I think when you look at the season as a whole, three-point percentage has dropped a little bit this year. Nice job by Jordan Ford. That's what people around here are accustomed to seeing, him knock down those type of shots. Three-point percentage dropping a little bit this year. But you play at different styles and you play in different paces. You know, today was a great rivalry Saturday, whether Kentucky going into Tennessee and winning that contest, Michigan knocking off Michigan State. Xavier Simpson had a nice game today. It was great to see Isaiah Livers come back.
Yeah. You know, speaking of the Big Ten, Brad Underwood had a theory as to why offense is down a little bit. That three-point line moving back, I mean, his point was, it doesn't affect Jordan Ford. It doesn't affect, you know, the great shooters across the country. It affects those 3 and 4 men who have been shooters, stretching out defenses, creating space. You move the three-point line back even just a little bit, those guys all of a sudden aren't as effective. You don't have to go out and guard them there. And the floor gets a little more cluttered.
Yep, I agree.
I thought it was a pretty good theory.
I'll roll with that one. Coach Underwood's team's played well most of the season as well.
Yeah, they had a great year.
And they'll stay in the Big Ten. How about Penn State?
Huge win again today. Penn State's got a chance to win the Big Ten.
Pretty amazing. Lamar Stevens has had an amazing year. His decision to come back, and obviously to improve himself, but also just a huge part of what Pat Chambers has centered everything around this year. And they're going to the NCAA tournament. There's no doubt about that. But a huge week for them.
That's a team that plays with pace, plays with offense. Gilder, who's been effective when he's been in the game tonight. Petrushev's going to try a three and hits it.
There's a confidence in him right now.
Yes, sir. Big time.
He's got another double-double, 18 and 10.
85 to 54. Kuzi flips a shot up. Petrushev, rebound.
I think he's coming out at the next whistle. And if I'm Mark Few, I definitely have him on the bench.
Kispert found his way into an open three. Timeout, Coach Few and Gonzaga pouring it on. If it's the final moments for Philip Petrushev on the floor, they were pretty impressive, weren't they?
Yeah, 18 points, 10 rebounds, found his rhythm, playing with confidence, belief in himself, just like his teammates are. It's been all Zags all night.
Well, Sports Center tonight, when we are done, Bucci, Kenny Mayne getting ready for you. Reactions, analysis from UFC 247. You got Duke and Carolina, just a thrilling rivalry game and a stunner for Duke. XFL debuts, highlights from opening day. Plus, guess who was in the beautiful city of San Francisco? We're taking a look at LeBron James and the Lakers. Played tonight at the Chase Center for the first time this year.
Have you been in the new building?
You know, I still have not set foot in it. That's kind of embarrassing.
I need to go.
I live in the city.
I don't, and I need to go.
I'm busy working with you.
Yeah, for the first time in 4 years.
It's booked up all my time, even just thinking about this game.
You're going to be sick of me here in another couple of weeks. You're going to be like, wait, I went 4 years without him, and I got 3 in 4 weeks.
Yeah, a couple weeks from now, Dukas got fouled on the floor. A couple weeks from now, you and I will be at Provo.
Right.
BYU at home in front of 20,000 fans. That is the test for Gonzaga, I think, remaining.
They can really shoot the ball.
They can.
And especially at home. How many did they get the other night? 107?
Yeah.
They can really fill it up. And it's going to be a great contest there. And that place is going to be very loud.
Of course, you and I said that tonight that this was going to be the big test for Gonzaga. And it did not prove to be. If the Zags play like this, it's going to be tough for anybody to beat. Yeah. But BYU, I think, is the kind of team, they love to play fast. They can score with Gonzaga.
Mark Pope has done a tremendous job.
Great job.
And playing without Yoli Childs for the first 9 games, which was ridiculous because some paperwork wasn't filed correctly. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
But they played without him. They won at Houston without him. They beat Virginia Tech without him. They beat UCLA without him.
Timmy elevates and comes up short. That's a foul against Gonzaga. And BYU's resume, I mean, the overall record, 18 and 7. You look at that 7. Figure they're playing in the WCC. The metrics, the computers, they love BYU.
Right. And remember, when they lost here, they played without Yoli Childs.
Yeah, they took St. Mary's to overtime without him. They played without him on the road against Gonzaga. And even though the final score of that game was pretty lopsided, BYU hung with them. They missed some open shots. They missed some threes. But I thought BYU looked like a team that could give Gonzaga problems, and I think they will in a couple weeks. Randy Bennett and his group, they got work to do. I'm not saying work to do necessarily to get in the tournament, but work to do to play better than this.
Well, and it's a frustrating night. You know, and Randy's been down these roads before, and he's had frustrating nights, you know, but his team time and time again have figured out a way to bounce back and learn from it.
That's a good point. Last year's WCC tournament is the ultimate example of that. Gonzaga #1 in the country. They've blown out St. Mary's both times in the regular season, and the Gales beat them. That's a foul against Gonzaga. Pavel Zakharov, the freshman, who's getting some late minutes, has already committed 2 fouls. He's in the box score. Gonzaga is not a deep team.
No, and as long as they're healthy, they're good. And with Tilly, they start to trend from good to great. What he does is he spaces the floor too. I mean, that's the other thing, because he's such a good shooter and he's such a good passer. You can play through him. You can use him as a decoy to create space.
Jordan Ford is still in the game, by the way. Jordan Ford has played more minutes than any player in college basketball. Total minutes than any player in the country.
Surprised he's in the game.
I mean, to me, this would be a time. Okay, let's give him a breather. Maybe Randy Bennett figures, well, it doesn't really matter, but. He's going the distance again tonight, despite the blowout score. Long 3 is way off the mark.
That's a waffle.
For sure. I'm happy to call that one a waffle. And if you missed what Sean's talking about, well, sorry. We're not explaining a second time.
No, go back to the first half. Rewind it.
Dukas goes to the free throw line. You said you were never going to make any more bets.
Not doing that. Not
Wait a minute. The shades had to come with it?
The shades were part of it too, yeah. That's a good look. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'd wear that to a Luke Combs concert.
Yeah, that could be a signature for you.
I think Jordan Davis, I think, is going to be up there on the, if I'm not mistaken, on the 28th, which is the night before.
Okay.
Might catch a country concert.
Okay.
You want to roll?
You got your itinerary all put. No, because now we got all these restaurants to go to.
I know. I still need more recommendations. I think, you know, some of them are like staples, like Churchill's. I've been to Churchill's. I have gone to Churchill's. I'm just kind of like, you know, I'm a comfy sweat guy. Now he's in the box score for points, by the way, too.
He's matched his fouls with his points. Zakharov.
I'm like a comfy sweats guy. I find something I like and I stick with it.
Yeah.
But you know what? I hear the cries of Spokane. I want to acknowledge them, and I'll try something else. And that does not, we're not changing our breakfast spot at all.
No, we're going back to Huckleberry's.
Yeah.
Sorry, folks. We're not branching out.
The breakfast burrito's too good.
Pretty good. So
you know it's also good? Yeah, Gonzaga.
Yeah.
What a night, what a performance. A 30-point win for the Zags on this floor, in this building. The level of efficiency in which they've played with. Just a dominating performance. Every way you could look at a box score and watch. Phenomenal.
Number 2 team in the country. They play like this. I'm not sure they're not number 1. Gonzaga was just awesome. For Sean Farnham, great to be back with Sean tonight. Dave Fleming saying so long. Sports Center coming up next.